check this. And hit the button. And we're live. Good morning. It is Monday. It is 11:23 a.m. Monday morning on October 22nd, 2018, and we are making indie games. What happened when last we left off? I think I do remember. So last time we left off, I was still working on, let's see. I was polishing up some bugs with this area. Since then, I've also gone in and I've written the lines that the characters say in this area. I kind of already knew what they were, but I had to, write them and hook them up. So I'm setting this all aside for now. The calendar area, the monotony area, is first pass complete. So now I'm working on the boat area, which I've already did a pass of the level design for that. Oh wait, what day is it? Today is Monday. Last time I streamed must have been like Thursday night. So I was working on that. I went in and I fixed a couple other random bugs throughout the game. I added a feature which would, it's kind of hard to explain, but like if you were hovering over a block and I added a feature that I thought would be cool and make for interesting puzzles, and then I was like, why am I doing this? This is not fun. And basically I wasted like a good day on Saturday, but that's okay. And then I started looking into this again. This morning I wrote and hooked up all the lines for this area. So this is all, like written. I hate that there's a lot of bugs with this area, visually, right? Like, for one thing, the main menu should look like this. Not that this is good, but at least like that blue fog shouldn't be over it. There's some bugs visually with clearly the grid is not being portrayed properly here. I need to fix that. I want to make it so that when you finish this area, like when you complete the last level, I want a cute little cutscene. I think that's what I'm going to work on today, because I kind of started something about that a while back, and I put it down and never went back. So, yeah. Today we're going to touch up this area a little bit in a bunch of weird ways. That's the goal. Good morning, Root Lancer. Oh, 10 viewers already. You guys got in here fast. I was worried. I feel like I've been slacking with the streaming and stuff, which is crazy because I thought when I went full-time indie I'd have so much more time for this, but I just haven't been. Haven't done it. Hey, Sapphire. So I've already warmed up my brain a bit this morning and had a late breakfast a couple minutes ago. So maybe early lunch. I don't know what you call it when you eat at 11. So, what to do first? I think the first thing, here, now that I'm back from lunch, let's do a warm-up. I want to know why this is not adhering to the grid, right? Like, this is supposed to be a world space material, and it's supposed to kind of roughly align to the grid, and it's clearly not at all. So let's figure that out. Let's start there. Brunch? Yeah. It's not brunch unless there's alcohol. Or specifically like a mimosa. Not like a heavy drinking thing, but like a Bloody Mary. Brunch is something you do with friends. It's not something you hork down over your kitchen sink. Yeah, I can't call it brunch without a Bloody Mary. There's rules here. Okay. Yeah. Something's way wrong here, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's fix it. Let's start with that. So you derive from all right. That's just cut. right, so this is my heavily modified world line texture node. Oh, right, I brought it here so you could see it. So it's, what the hell? I can already tell these numbers are wrong, right? Because this is not a rectangular texture, so why is it scaling it to 2 different numbers? Also, where the hell did these numbers come from? What is this texture's dimensions? You are 1024 by 1024. Your size is 256. Why is this not just simply 4 times? I'm scaling it by garbage numbers. I'm sure this makes sense. But I feel like it should just be 4 times 4. Of an offset of nothing. Does that not just work? It does just work. Why were you weird? Oh no, you need some kind of offset. I'm just gonna guess 128. Did I even move in the right direction? No, this one. Yes. Yeah, now it's a grid. Okay, so not sure where the garbage numbers came from. Probably made sense at one point. Does this look like a grid? I mean, this area, it can be kind of loose, right? Like you don't need to feel the grid as intently. As long as you have an idea of the direction and what row and column you're in. So this is allowed to be a little bit slapdash. Yeah, okay. So that was incredibly easy. It doesn't feel like this lines up, does it? Am I sure something's not wrong here? Doesn't it feel like it should be more that way? Am I crazy? No, it super doesn't feel like it lines up. See, over here it's all weird. Right? Like that doesn't look right. I'm doing something wrong. Hey, Kuru Bakla. Good morning. Remind me at the end of the stream to talk about t-shirts. I want a t-shirt. I don't know what. I'm not going to think about that right now. But the single most important thing is that we create some merch. Can't have a company without company merch. Maybe a hoodie. So, what the hell? All right. Okay, so in reality, let's just say this is the way it should be is your size is custom. The fuck? Give me a float. Constant should just be 1024. And then your scale should just be 1. Does that make it just work? That's looking a lot better. No, it's not. No, what the maybe no offset. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I should feel like there's 4 rows here, and I don't. Take the size of the texture. Get the absolute value. Scale UVs by center. So this is just going to 1, so that shouldn't matter. Oh wait, what am I thinking? Yeah, of course, because what it'll do now is it'll take up 1024 units. I need a calculator. So I need it to take up 1,000 units, right? Or 800. 800. So I actually need it to be, because the texture is 1024, but in world space, each grid is 200 units, right? So this should be not 1. That's probably how I ended up with weird garbage values. They probably made sense. Okay. So now I'm at least seeing, now the offset's all fucked. What should the offset be? 0, actually, probably. Yeah, that looks correct. I'm not crazy. That's better. Much better. Okay. Okay. Problem 1 solved. Check that out. T-shirt? T-shirt or like sweater perhaps? I don't know. I will say one of the funny things about Irrational was like, as soon as you started, you got a t-shirt. Once you were there for, I think it was 2 or 3 years, they gave you a sweater. Once you were there for 5 years, they gave you a hat. And you also moved further from the windows. So when you started out, you're by the windows. And they didn't clothe you, so you were just freezing. Like, and if you got, like, the leads were near the center of each of the pods, right? Near the center of the studio, not on the fringes, because you need easy access to them. So as you became more senior, you moved closer to the warmth, like the center of the studio, away from the windows. And also they gave you more, like, hats and scarves and shit, with the company logos and everything. So you earned your warmth. You had to soldier through it. Thought that was fucking hilarious. Not everybody made it. Some people freeze to death. So, alright, let's do something fun, because I'm streaming. I started this ages ago, well, like a week or so ago. It's not going to be cinematics. I started thinking about what... Well, here, let me explain the problem. First off, these idle animations are great when you're playing the normal part of the game. But when you're here, having these little dance idols and this boat that doesn't really move much, it's just not on brand. This is supposed to be romantic. Go away. It's supposed to be on a boat, swaying with the, you know, swaying with the water and stuff. So obviously this needs to completely change, right? The question becomes what to change it to. Here's my first step. Where did I put it? Started this week ago and then forgot about it. Ooh, I have no idea where I put it. Player. Kind of got to be able to look through the controls here. My question becomes, do I want... I said these to not move with her, but I'm kind of regretting it. I don't know what this area is going to look like when I'm done. This is one of those things I kind of want like a concept artist to help with. My studio is similar. A year in, I will get a t-shirt, and 2 years in, I get a jacket. Yeah. They level it up. 10 years to get like a statue or something. I never like the statues. It's like I don't need more crap. I was talking about it with Chris Slight. He threw out basically everything he owns when he moved to America. He ran out of time. He didn't ship a single thing. He only took what him and his wife could fit in 5 suitcases. I think that's good. That really pares you down. Makes you question what's important. Though I don't know. I think it's just because I move around a lot. A lot of people I know have like loads of stuff because they have lots of hobbies. And if you're super into like woodworking or any given hobby, You just need to acquire certain amount of things to do it at home. Okay, I do want these to move with the boat. Is there a controller for you? Nope, you just go. Well, it is 11:45, Mitchell. I think you're allowed to be awake, man. I think most people wake up about earlier than this. Welcome to adulthood. I collect a lot of books and comics, physical books and comics. Yeah, I think it's because I wasn't into comics when I was a kid. And when I worked with Marvel, they gave me access to all their all their comics online. Like they have a thing, like a password you can use for their website where you can get every comic that Marvel has ever digitally online. And they let people who are working on a Marvel property use it, which was cool while I was there. And so I'm used to, my experience with comics is reading them on a screen, like on a laptop or on a computer. So in my mind, collecting them physically is just like, why do we want this paper? Let's not bring dead trees into this. I'm used to this on the internet. I feel like maybe I'm that way with most things too. I just don't have that desire to own a physical thing. I think we're seeing that trending even more with like the younger I think a lot of people. So I hit in a generation where it's like the generation, I don't know. There's two sides to this. There's some people that want to own a thing because they're used to, I don't own it unless I can see it and hold it. And there's some people who are like, I need it to be on my computer. Like, it can't be on the internet through some service. I have to have it on my computer. And I think I fit in a generation that's more like that. And then also, and I think the youngest generation, the ones younger than me, like people in their 20s, they don't even need that. They're like, whatever, I have a streaming service, everything's temporary. That desire to own something and have it physically on a disc or physically on a machine somewhere that you own is not as important. And I think also part of that is swinging back around to like the novel, because nobody owns a physical thing anymore. Now it's a novelty. It's kind of like how when you get a letter in the mail, it's weirdly special now. Whereas when I was a kid, getting a letter in the mail was like, that's how it's just all you have is junk mail. It's gross, right? Yeah. So I think I'm in that weird generation that just doesn't want any physical goods, and the people younger than me love it. Like they want to be collectors because it's a rare thing for them, and people who are older than me just want to physically own something because it's real if they own it, right? That's a theory. That's my theory. Could be wrong. I don't know. Yeah. Digital is way more convenient, Mitchell. For like movies and games and things. Well, this ties into my feelings on like subscription services in general. And there is such a thing as like, this is important, I want to own it. Like, if it's in your Steam library, do you own it? I suppose so, because you can download a .exe, right? Versus like, if you use some kind of streaming service for a game, the theoretical streaming service that's going to come out in the future for all these various platforms, you can't have it, you don't have it physically on your machine. Does that matter? And that's where things like if you follow Super Rare, they take games that only release digitally and they release physical copies of them, and people who really love a game will collect those. Yeah, I like Steam too, though I have a lot of hesitations about it. I mean, these storefronts are always terrifying because they have so much control over you, right? You rely on them for your business. You exist at their whim. Right now, if you're on PC. I think we'll always be afraid of our storefronts. I mean, that's what it is to be a game developer now. You rely so much on, like, hopefully your storefront doesn't screw you over. Hopefully your publisher doesn't go out of business. Hopefully, like, your engine is ported to the next thing, or you just kind of, you just have to choose who you trust. Yeah, as a consumer, I guess you have it too. What happens if they go under? What happens to your library? I mean, right now you could download everything and back it up if you wanted to, right? There's nothing stopping you. But nobody does. Nobody that I know does. I bet people do. Oh, I think I remember why I wasn't going to do this. Well, we'll see. Man, I have no idea how I would even get this to work in game. Like, I kind of want to just focus on the fun thing. What does it look like? But in reality, I mean, I could sync. Shit, I have no idea. Let's start thinking about that. Because that might inform some decisions here. Where's the boat? Should be a boat ride. Clearly put a lot of thought into that asset. Jesus Christ, Perforce. Good morning. You wanna wake up? No, you wanna freeze? That's cool. I've been there. There you go. Alright. So I'm gonna make 3 locations for the 3 spots. I imagine there's gonna be like 3 sockets that they can socket into. Let's just start there. Boat, mid socket, boat. Do we call this right and left? Forward, back, what do we call it? Aft. Don't be difficult. Aft and stern. Nobody will know what that means. But though, what's the front? There is no front. Oh, shit. Don't even know if I should call this right or left. Oh god. Far socket A? That's stupid. I'm called the right socket. We're gonna call it the forward socket. Right. Okay, so now we have a skeletal mesh. Compass naming convention? North, south, east, west, perhaps. Though the problem is... whatever, it's done. It doesn't matter. Alright, here's what we do have to do. Let's bring in the boat. Probably have to replace all these with a scale mesh, but that's fine. Because I just slapped a static mesh in there. Yes, it did. Alright, that's fine. Import. Right. It's going to bring in as a static mesh. I need to call it boat rig. Okay, good. Delete, replace references with boat rig. No? God damn it. Cancel. Oh yeah, I don't like the auto import because how do I explain it? On larger teams it can be a problem. This goes into a giant thing, especially for larger teams, over whether or not you check in your intermediary files. I personally don't believe in it. I think it's better to check in your source files, like your Maya or Max files, and then, in the case of Unreal, bring them into the engine, not check in the .fbx, the intermediary file. Just do that locally and check in the result in the engine. Because I think you run the risk of somebody accidentally having auto import on, and maybe you export an FBX because you're in the middle of something, but you don't actually want to update it in engine yet, but you check in the .fbx, and then somebody accidentally updates it. And I just think for larger teams, not having the FBXs in Perforce is wise. This is something that is extremely... Tech artists have fights about this shit. Like, it's actually a workflow question. Should you check in your intermediary files? It depends heavily on the engine. I would argue for Unreal you should not. I think it's important to be able to, like, sometimes you want to update your source asset, sometimes you're in the middle of something, but you don't want to update it in engine yet. You don't want to push it to the game yet. And having control over when that happens is important. And you give that up as soon as you have any kind of auto import situation like that. Which I know what you can say next. Like, I can hear the other side of that argument already, but I'm a strong believer. Don't put your FBXs on Perforce. Just don't do it. Alright, let's replace all... Whoops, wrong things. Wrong things. Let's grab all the boat levels. All What's this one? This must be one I cut. Oh no, I know what that one is. Okay. Did you crash? Did you just update that fast? That is so effortless. Hey, Polydolphin. Yes. You're always here reminding me that time is moving forward. 11 fucking months. Jesus. Let's not think about that. This year's been flying. I've been so busy. Whatever. It's been a good time. Ooh. In my circumstances, I had a lot of anims that needed to be batch baked, then imported in engine. I was thrown into a very messy workflow at the time. But I could see how the auto import could cause even more problems in different circumstances. Yeah, I mean, there's times when it's really useful. For sure. It's something you can turn on in certain situations. Maybe it's just I like to have the freedom to be really messy with my source assets and know it won't impact the game. This is one of those things you've accidentally hit on a conversation that's like, it sounds stupid, but at larger studios, when you get to larger and larger studios, your workflow needs to be tighter and tighter and more. It's very important to have certain things that everybody is doing things the same way, because you're all sharing assets. It's hard to explain why this is such a big deal to a lot of people, but you have no idea what a big deal that particular conversation is. You have no idea how many fights there are over whether or not you should check in your intermediary files or naming conventions, and how it's crazy to me how much more important that was at Irrational versus other places. I guess on the one hand, it super doesn't matter on smaller teams. People can have different workflows and things like naming convention, and these conventions just don't matter on smaller teams. Or even really on medium teams, it actually depends a lot more on the number of assets. So imagine you're working on an MMO and you have a problem where you have a pair of pants and you have several pairs of pants and several pairs of shoes that make up the character customization for a character, right? When certain pants and shoes are together, then the pants need to be tucked into the shoes, so the shoes go over them. Other times, the pants need to go over the shoes. Those are two different assets. You have an asset of the pants where they go over a shoe, an asset of the pants when the player's wearing no shoes or shoes that basically don't matter, an asset for the pants when they go under the shoes. And you need to be able to have a standard naming convention and a standard way of handling all of these weird little edge cases. And also, because you're going to have an army of people largely overseas touching these assets, and also you're going to just have hundreds and hundreds of stupid fucking one-off assets like this, and it just becomes this whole mess if you're not extremely diligent, if you're not like kind of an asshole about the naming convention and about certain things like this. Always tuck all pants into all shoes. Well, what happens if they're not wearing shoes? What happens if they're wearing heels? Are you gonna go to... There's always gonna be... Oh man, you have no idea. It's just gonna happen. And your artists are gonna lose it if they don't have the ability to change the silhouette for certain things. It's just... There's certain projects where naming conventions and standards and things like this matter so much more. It matters more when you have a distributed team. It matters more when you're working with other studios and outsourcers. It matters more when you have a large number of assets. Shoes are banned. I'm good, Sniper. It's good to see you. We're just talking about times when naming conventions are extremely important. Hey, Michael. Hey, Aubrey. Dude, everybody popped in at the same time. How are you? I am good, Aubrey. Character customization is can be a fun problem. It's not a problem I feel like solving ever again. I've solved it a few too many times and now it bores me. But there's definitely a lot there. It becomes so complicated so fast. Especially everything. The texture stamping system. Making sure that different articles of clothing only take up certain UV slots. Or certain amounts of space in your UV set. Handling all these one-off cases for when certain jackets go with certain things. Just in general, character customization gets so complicated so fast. That's another way to do it, Rootlancer. If you can, bottleneck all assets through the tech art team. Give the artists, like your modelers and your texture artists, the ability to just be free and do whatever they want in their source assets, and then they have to hand it off to tech art in order to put it in engine. I'd argue that's bullshit, because if an artist isn't looking at their stuff in engine, if they're not completely aware of what it looks like in the final product, if they're only assessing their... Because if you have to wait for somebody else to put your stuff in the game, then yes, you'll go back after they're done and you'll look at it in game, but by then you're probably moved on to the next asset, you're moved on to the next thing, right? So you're more likely to let things slide, whereas if you're putting things in game as you work, then you're far more diligent about making sure it looks as good as possible from the perspective of the end product, which is important. So I think it's very important that all artists put their own stuff in engine, see it in engine with the lighting and the shading that it's going to have finally. I think bottlenecking things through tech art is bullshit. I think tech art, if you're doing it right, should create tools to bulletproof the assets that the artists put in, and should create tools that will tell the artists when they do things wrong. Like, I think that's proper tech art, in my opinion. Different people disagree. Obviously, there's studios where they have just as many tech artists as artists, and they bottleneck everything through the tech art team. There's studios where the people who model things and texture things are two different teams almost. And I'll admit, maybe I just haven't worked at... Like, I never worked at Ubisoft. I don't know what it's like to work on an art team in the hundreds. Maybe it is necessary at that point. But in a way that makes me kind of sad, I guess. Maybe not. I guess if your art team's in the hundreds, it's just different. But yeah, tech art. What the hell was I doing? Right, we just replaced these with skeletal meshes. Everything's still gonna work, right? Okay, good. Oh, I'm getting it again. There's an intermittent choppiness. Maybe I'm not getting it. It's hard to say. Only when I'm looking at the stars. Whatever, I'll figure it out later. Okay. Oh, those are prototype areas. I'll leave it. Okay, I want you. Is there anything I have to do to this to make it so I can use my standard system? You know what? Yeah, I'm being stupidly lazy here. I'm gonna rig this. Treat it like a real asset. Alright, what's going on? Just want to be able to change panties for my characters. Yes, textures would be all you need for that. No, this is a romantic little moment, Michael. It's not all about the music. It's not all work here. Euler and Rue got a little something going on. I'm taking a little romantic boat ride. It's very special. So, first I'm going to rig the boat. Rigging. Hierarchy. I should have done this right in the first place. So, to keep everything neat and clean, you always have, on the highest level of my scenes, I always have just the mesh that gets exported and the joints that get exported. And then separately from that, I create a completely different chain of bones. That I manipulate directly with the rig. And that way at any time later on in the future, if I need to, I can rip the rig off wholesale, just have the joints in the mesh and re-rig it however I need to. This has saved my ass a million times, so I always do it. I'm going to make game skeleton from rig. All this did was create a basic game skeleton that mirrors this one. It's point-oriented constraint to this one. I'm going to, oopsies, edit, delete by type history, and then skin this to the boat joint, bind skin. And then now we're back to where we were, but now we have a different skeleton we can manipulate. Joints. Now we make a controls shape, just call it the boat. Yeah, why make it weird? Let's make it a box. Okay. Good morning, May. I'm glad you like it, Michael. It's still kind of early. And this will be just the world placement. pull in something else, like pull in something I've already figured out what this should look like. Characters. Bodies, probably. Yeah, this one. I'm just gonna grab this shape node off of this. Shape relative. So you should call it this, I guess. Let's just be consistent. Okay. So you, I think I'm just gonna constrain the root to that. And I'm gonna put you under here. And I'm gonna put you under here. It's nice and clean. Okay, so now we've got a basic boat rig. Let's definitely just set this to be invisible. Mesh. Referenced. Okay. Good. Nice and clean. Except you don't actually work. Constrain this to parent. Okay. That'll do. Good morning, Tom. Or afternoon, right. I started this one kind of late. Usually I start first thing in the morning, but I was like, oh, I have all day. I should probably go to the bank. I've been putting that off forever for like no reason. It's sort of important to like create a bank account for a company that isn't your personal account, but then I gotta figure out it basically exists just for tax reasons, and I've got very little expenses. There's really no point in this, but it's still important. So I gotta figure out like where to have the bank account. I'm probably just gonna use Bank of America because I'm real lazy and I don't want to do any research. But I should in the long, like I didn't do any research for the molasses flood, and then shit hit the fan and we needed to get art outsourcing done, and we were working with an art outsourcing house that was in the UK. And then it turned out our wire transfer fees are like $10 to $20 every time we transfer, and I had structured it so that we paid them about twice a month, so we just got crushed with fees for no reason. You should look into it. It's a thing where you have to go to a physical location for the most part. Gotta give them an EIN. Hey Jessica, shit, I haven't seen you in a while. How are things going? trying to remember. I think last time I was watching you stream, you were eating a banana and caught like something weird. Instead of, I'm in a similar boat to you, except instead of bank, I should really read this. Oh, publisher contract. Nice. Is it a good one? I mean, you don't know if you should sign it until you read it, so that's actually, I think we might be getting ahead of ourselves here. Oh, man. It's been in your inbox for 3 months. Wow. Way to really string them along. Are they nervous at this point? I don't really need you, and I'm going to prove it by just not signing this. I kind of understand. I got into the ID at Xbox program with Kine, and they're like, "Hey, sign this so that we can send you a dev kit." And what it says in the contract is like, you have to launch on the Xbox One when you launch on everything else. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do that, Microsoft. I'm just not ready to make that kind of commitment. You're moving too fast. Let's slow it down, MS. Extra. Xbox One seems like, I don't know, extra work. Well, it isn't that bad if you're using the Unreal Engine, specifically because I'm not integrating Fmod or doing anything weird, and everything I'm doing is in Blueprint, so it should be really easy, with the exception of like the most, you know, just what it's like setting up a dev kit. I'm lazy. I'm so lazy, Jessica. It's not that much work. It's just I've never I'm spoiled with most technology where you plug it in and it just goes, and it's a dev kit, right? Like you gotta, you know, sacrifice a goat, turn around 3 times, throw a rooster over your house, whatever it takes. Sometimes the fucking website works with Microsoft, sometimes it doesn't. Just gotta be real cool about it. Well, it's easier to. What I mean by that, Michael, is you're more likely to have created something that's going to be a problem for the Xbox if you are working in code, just because you're more likely to have done something that would touch the Xbox code, I imagine. I mean, in the end, it's a lot easier, right? So, PC seems more alluring because you don't have to do all that. You can instantly start working. I can put out an exe. But the reality is, then you have to make sure that exe works on all the different platforms. And it, you know, maybe doesn't. And I just don't know that because I'm only testing it on like my computers, right? Whereas if you get something working on the Xbox, it's going to work on every Xbox because they're all the same. So the Xbox is in some ways significantly easier. In some ways, it's not. I mean, they've lightened up a lot on the TRCs based on where they used to be. Like, what if we unplug your controller in the middle of a game? It's like, oh, fuck you. Just don't do that. Like, why do I have to handle? But they've lightened up on a lot of that over the years. Going through cert is significantly easier than it was, like, just the jump from our cert process for the Flame and the Flood versus Bioshock Infinite, it was so much easier. And I've heard it's gotten even easier than it was at the very beginning. PC strategy is, I tried my best, it didn't work, here's a refund. That's true. Steam is, I love that Steam has that built-in refund thing. I think it's actually made it a lot easier to be a lot sloppier. You shouldn't be proud of that, but there's realities here. If you're a solo dev and you're not a programmer, it's like, I can't even. People, every now and then I get the Mac question, it's like, I don't own a Mac. I don't own one. I would love to try to support Mac, but I wouldn't because I don't like them, and also I don't own one. Which is shitty. Actually, I know that. But congrats on the publisher deal. I got a life to live. I got burgers to eat. You get too many negative reviews with 0.2 hours gameplay and refunded. Yeah. That's a whole conversation too. There was a Gamasutra article on that, and there was a big conversation with Valve when they were out here about that. How negative reviews can just destroy you. It can destroy your business. It's really easy for... It's easy to hate Steam right now because they're the monopoly on PC storefronts. And I think there's a lot of movement towards that changing, obviously. You see Discord's opened their storefront. Congregate is trying to push into more things. I don't think... I mean, there's always the chance that GOG or itch takes off, but I think that's... They just haven't gotten the player base yet. It's really a monopoly. Steam really owns the monopoly. And you live or die based on, like, if they remove you from their store, you're fucked, right? And you can gripe to them. You can be like, look, every now and then you'll get something where a lot of game developers are very political, and someone will say something political on Twitter, and then consumers will go review bomb their game. And if you review bomb it down to mixed, that'll have a direct impact on their sales immediately, right? Which is basically destroying their source of income, which is obviously bad. There's only so much Steam can do about that. It's a whole thing. It's a whole conversation. And what we need is like a console that's easy to work with. I gripe about Microsoft sometimes, but the truth is it is easier to support one piece of hardware versus all of the possible computers out there. And I've heard it's even worse with mobile. Like, I've never worked with mobile, but I can't even imagine, right? Trying to support everybody's fucking phone. I've heard that that's just a nightmare. That things are just updated at different times, that supporting all the different mobile storefronts is like a giant pain in the ass. We need a console that's easy to work with and that all the consumers buy. Xbox One X XS Cobra. Oh god, what are they gonna call the next fucking Xbox? I swear to god, if they call it the Xbox 2, I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe they won't call it an Xbox. Maybe they'll come up with something new. That would be smart at this point. Just salt the earth and start a new franchise. Like, especially because they're going streaming. Call it like the Stream Box or something. The next box. I like that. Always work to the lowest mobile platform if you can plan for it. I've heard, what was it I heard this weekend? That, so I've noticed a lot of my friends in the UK use something called WhatsApp, which we do not use in America. Like, I've never heard of it until I started traveling. But WhatsApp is like global and it's huge. It's all over the world, and it's all over the world because they went through the effort of being on every imaginable mobile device, like even the shitty old flip phones and stuff. Xbox One with a 0. Yeah, that's good. There's no usability problems there. Xsphere. You gotta be careful about keeping the box part too. That could get looted real fast. You gotta be real careful here. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Probably they'll call it some kind of stream box maybe, or some sort of stream thing. Who knows? Though if they hew too closely to that, then it'll look like they're copying Google. It always kind of looks like Microsoft's copying somebody else. What the fuck ever happened to the HoloLens? When is that happening? Is that why they're so quiet lately? Maybe the next thing is a HoloLens / streaming device, maybe. Steam Link was a failure. Steam Link was, I never got one of those. But that was a piece of hardware that streamed from your computer to your TV inside your home, right? It's interesting. Xbox Prime. You think Microsoft will work with Amazon? Fuck that, man. I have no information here, but I bet like Amazon's already, they're moving hard into the game space. They've already got their own kind of subscription for music and for movies. You know they want to have a subscription game service. You know if anybody is working on like streaming, on lifestyle streaming, it's got to be Amazon. I know it's weird because I know people that have worked there and I haven't talked to them in forever. But you know, like, they have the Amazon cloud. They have cloud. They must be working on this. You tried when it wasn't super great. For the Steam box? I think the Steam box, yeah. Yeah, Amazon had bought Lumberyard. Let's not talk about that. If you have nothing nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all, Rudelancer. There's nothing nice to say about Lumberyard. They, using Twitch as a vector is something that would be interesting. There's been some movement with people I know at Twitch, too. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. They definitely did try to do the thing where streamers can get a cut of the revenue if they sell the games they're playing. I always thought that was really interesting. I always thought that was really compelling. I don't know why that didn't quite take off, though. I feel like we're definitely seeing a lot, like, I'm surprised Discord didn't push into the streaming stuff. Though I suppose they're already pushing to the storefront stuff. I kind of want to make a crazy ass Venn diagram of like, massive company. Do you own a storefront? Do you own a streaming service like Twitch or Mixer or YouTube? Do you have cloud services? Like, which combination of things is the future? It's interesting. Steambox was too slow to stream. They needed a better Ethernet card. Streaming games over Wi-Fi sucked. Yeah. Valve is... I mean, Valve hasn't proven themselves in the hardware space yet. And I think they made a hard play for the Vive. And I think maybe that'll pan out in the long term. But basically, they've put their chips down on the VR. And I don't know if they've got enough money to also put their chips down on... I mean, they've got money. I don't know what they're going to do. Who the fuck knows? I think everybody's just doing a little bit of everything right now and ready to pivot. At least I definitely feel like Microsoft's doing that, I bet. From the outside, Twitch seems like a lot of disparate groups with ideas, but no one at the top with vision to bring it together. So the products and features come out half-baked. I mean, I talked to, back when I started this, just because, like, it's my way, I reached out to some people at Twitch, and I was like, hey, I didn't really have anything to pitch them. I was just like, I think the coolest part of Twitch is not these, like, loud, angry white dudes screaming about the games they're playing. I think creative is really cool, and I think you should push this more. And I was trying to brainstorm with them ideas, and I was like, maybe we could come up with like I made that time lapse. I eventually turned it into a time lapse video that I put on Autodesk of like me modeling one of the characters. But I'm like, why don't we do more stuff like this and showcase creative? And it just it was a lot of, yeah, maybe we should totally do something like that, but it just doesn't feel like what they're interested in. They want to be cool. I don't know what they're doing either, to be honest. It is a lot of disparate groups too. They feel more cohesive than Microsoft does, right? Like, I don't know if the Mixer team and the ID at Xbox team speak. It's hard to say. but I've talked to a couple different people there. Twitch does seem to want to have a unified voice. They want that very badly. Especially, they're very careful about who runs their Twitter feed, about seeming to have a unified voice. And they do want to do a lot of cool things. And they are just, in general, the people that work there are pretty cool. Like, pretty plugged into, I don't know, what the youth is doing and shit. But if I had something, what I want to do with Twitch is, I'm already doing it, right? Like, the Anim State gets together and we do a conference every year at the same time as GDC. I don't understand. Well, there's not a lot of money in it, so that's why. But I think Twitch could easily crush GDC if they leaned into that. If there was like, we've been doing it for the last several years as the animation boot camp. I've been talking to Greg. Every year he like says he's going to get the art director boot camp onto the Twitch thing, and we'll do 2 days. And then like maybe we get like whoever's running the AI boot camp or the programmers to move over. I think we could recreate GDC entirely online through Twitch. But there's just not enough interest to get the ball rolling down the hill. Twitch has all the resources to do it. Twitch is totally cool with it. We just need somebody to organize each of the days. And like at the last year, I thought like Greg is the art director at Firaxis, and he's kind of the head, like the brainchild of the art director boot camp. And every year he's like, this is it. I'm so sick of GDC. We're going to do it online. We're going to do it at Twitch next year. You're right. And then every year he's like, I got no time. And then it falls over. But yeah, Twitch would love to streaming conferences, I think, should be huge. That's a whole different conversation. I'm sorry. I don't know how I got into that. I mean, we're trying Root Lancer, but I mean, yeah. The numbers are already with the angry gamers. Well, I think there's room for both, is the thing. There's room for, like, TV has more than just Jerry Springer. I think Twitch could take over GDC. I shouldn't say that. I rely on speaking at GDC in order to, like, I can't afford a ticket. The only reason I get tickets is because I speak each year, right? And I want those tickets because I need that event. But I do think it's an expensive event, and it's behind a walled garden, and it would be cool if it was all streamed. I think all the speakers would love to just do it streamed. And I really love being a part of the, like, we get Autodesk to sponsor it, that they pay enough to, like, it doesn't take much. We have a party afterwards and everything. We basically run a conference very cheaply. Twitch donates their office. They basically sponsor it. They put it on their front page. And we just give a series of talks for a day. We can throw it together at the last minute. There's no bureaucracy. If somebody runs late, who gives a shit? It's Twitch. Like, it's just such a pleasant experience. And what you have also is basically on Tuesday, something like the 50 best animators in the industry are all hanging out in one room, like in the back room. It's more fulfilling than GDC because it's just so distilled. It's like these 50 people are hanging out in the back room, and every now and then they come forward and they give a talk, and then they go back to the back room. And it's like, it's really fun for the speakers. It's really great for us. And it's anything we say, like when we're giving our talks, is free and on the internet immediately. And it just feels right. It also, Twitch opens up different formats. We could have polls and things. It just opens up. We should probably take it more seriously. I will say that. Like, we probably shouldn't get drunk and like throw little parties on Twitch and stuff. But it's part of the Twitch culture. I don't know. It's hard to say. I will say our Twitch show is significantly less serious than the Animation Bootcamp. It goes back and forth. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of different ways it could go, but I do think Twitch could take up. The one competitor to GDC would just be Twitch, and I think they could just start it right now by over the week of GDC while everybody's already in the same place anyway, throwing a conference. It's just a problem of getting everybody to organize because nobody's got time. And you pay a lot for GDC because they do have time and they do organize and they keep the quality bar very high. Oh, no. I'm not talking about the dialogue box. No, the Twitch show I'm talking about is just called Anim State. Anim State Presents, I think. But yeah, every year over GDC we do a full day of animation talks. Everybody that's part of, when you sign up for the animation boot camp, you unofficially also sign up to give a separate talk or be a part of something on Tuesday. So we do the animation boot camp at GDC on Monday, and then on Tuesday we all hang out at the Twitch office and we give a second talk or something like that. Yeah, it's Anim State. May was there last year. We also sponsor a couple students to come hang out. May was one of them. Okay, dark all of a sudden. Heavy cloud cover. But yeah, I enjoy that. I'm taking on too much. Otherwise, I would push more. I would need... Greg is busy. We need another art director, someone with clout to step up for the other half of the art stuff. Maybe I'll do it. I'll ship this game. It won't be this year. The year of 20... Let's see, what is it? It's 2018, 2019. Alright, on 2020, I will run the art director day on Twitch. And we will at least have two. We'll have art on Monday and we'll have animation on Tuesday. And we will take over the world. I don't know how that's taking over the world, but you know, whatever. I will say I'm significantly less excited about this stuff now that I do it too much. Like, I'm flying out on Wednesday next week. It's a red eye Tuesday night. I'm flying out for that Norway talk, which I should definitely rewrite to be a little bit less 101. Otherwise it'll be a shit talk. I think Lana's getting tired too. Lana. Because she's got to run BlizzCon and the animation boot camp. We need more people who are organizing stuff. What's going on? Oh my god. I kind of hate the stream announcement stuff. Like, I'm in your Discord, Jessica, and I'm in William Cheer's Discord and stuff, but I can't handle, like, having that little red one next to my Discord, because I'm like, I don't know if somebody messaged me. And I know it's just somebody announced they were streaming, but I still have to click it and make it go away, because I can't handle it. Like, having that little icon with the little red thing. I should quit Discord while I'm streaming. That would make the most sense. Doing it. It's gone. Okay. Now we can work. What were we doing? Oh god, we were gonna figure out how to do this, yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Okay. So right now... Alright, let's get stuff done. So right now... Let's start with... Right. I'm gonna... Before I was just animating a box. Let's not do that. Because I have a whole system here. Oh, this is gonna be a problem in the long term. So the only character... This must have been imported in a way that's weird. So the only character I have in here technically is Rue. Let's add a new character, and it's going to be the boat. Okay. I'm going to take all of this, copy it, paste it. Why is it not lining up perfectly, huh? I feel like they should. Do you start at the same time? You start at 7. You start at 7. Show me object orientation. Okay, that'll be it. Well, crap. So I'm going to take your X and put it on your Y. That's easy. There is no X, apparently. Is that true? Translate X. There is none. Excellent. Translate Y. Kill it. Okay, you have no X and Y. Your translate Y should become translate X and the other thing. Edit, copy. Edit. But you should start at 7. Oopsies. And times equals -1. Okay, so that should at least line up your translations. Okay, translations are aligned. Now move over those rotations. So your rotate Y becomes your, this may be object space. Your rotate Y becomes your rotate X. So let's take edit. It'll be like this. Cut. Edit, paste. Also, Copy becomes your rotate Y. Edit, paste, curves. And now we just gotta flip your rotate X times equal -1. All right, I've now transferred that over. I'm just going to leave this as like a control for the future because everything's already constrained to it, see? Whoop. So I'm just going to delete all the keys off of this and parent it under here. And save this. And that should, now we have what we had before, except now it's like rigged and nice and I can export it using my system and stuff. All right. Boat is here. 0 to 200. Boat. Idle. I swear, if like server muted, no offense, Jessica Mac, but I've like server muted a lot of these servers and I still get the little red dot. Oh, she's gone. Good. She doesn't know I said that. You can block the everyone in the here. Ah. Yeah. Nice. I wish it assumed I didn't want to be harassed. That'd be neat. But it shouldn't. I mean, it did opt into a server, right? Okay, fine. Fine. I wish there was buckets for the servers. That'd be a better way. Like, this server I care about. Everything else defaults to, you know, I peruse this when I'm bored and procrastinating. If I could put servers into buckets, I'd join more of them. All right. So I'm going to put this idle on this skeletal mesh. I don't want it to just play whenever. I want to very carefully control the tick to be audio time. So you will interpolate between frames based on audio time. Good. So if the music stops, everything freezes. Don't let the beat drop. So let's see. Wait, why would I think that would do anything? That won't do anything. Why did I do that? In fact, I should probably make this an object so I can edit all of them at once. Yeah, that would make the most sense, huh? All right, you're no longer a boat. You're now a blueprint. Right? An actor? What are you? Yeah, let's just merge it. Fuck it. Okay, so let's no. Don't be dumb. Okay, you're right. I rely on the fact that there's a child-parent relationship between different actors in the code. So the art just needs to be a different thing that's also attached to it. That's all. So this needs to be, let's create an actor. Should it just be an object? Can it just be an object? Nah, let me get object. Start simple. Boat. BP. Can't just be an object. Too simple. Actor. Boat BP. Actor with a skeletal mesh component. Just boat rig. And boat rig. Okay, now I can update this, update all of them. So let's replace that. Boat BP. Why is it jumping that up a bit? That's a bit weird. Seeing that too, right? Like it moves up a bit. Oh, that's probably the idle. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that works. Wait, no, I didn't even test stuff. So you're here. You have this. You should be playing an animation. You're not. Why? Could be looping won't work and I need to manually loop it because I'm manually calling the frame. That's entirely possible. Yeah, okay, fine. So 200 frames is what? This. You losing your mind there? Okay. There you go. No, you're still just not gonna play an animation, huh? The fuck? Show me. Okay, so that should work. Wait. Why did I do that? I need the remainder after you divide by that. What the hell is wrong with you? Okay. That makes sense. The water's gonna need to be much higher. Let's focus on the tech. I need to figure out how I'm gonna attach those characters. So just their art though. Right now, if you're on another pawn, I get this socket location. I find the drift, and I set that as the offset. Okay, so this is if you're on another pawn. Let's make another one for if you're on a boat. How do I know if you're on a boat? Ooh, I don't. I could set a flag on the pawn when you enter a boat level. I need a new animation system. Like, this is a set of animations we play for the dance level versus the boat level, but also there's levels where you get off of the boat. What I mean is, like, Like, what if I just want an entirely different animation blueprint when you're on a boat? Or, like, for certain sections of the game, they just have a different animation blueprint. That might be required. That might be the easiest way to do it, actually. Because I'm going to want the behavior to be totally different. So now I'm going to want a system on the pawn that changes the animation blueprint based on the level type. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Don't change this. Duplicate it. Body. Boat level. And MVP. Find if there's no world where you'd be in the air, right? There's no world where you're on top of another pawn. If you're in the boat levels, we just don't do that. So what I can do is go to the pawn. There's no, this is the actor I'm standing on setting or anything like that, is there? Like, what this does is set animations to active. This is what switches your animation set when I switch to the character. Turn on the lights. This is... It's not what I need. It's just for the pawn materials. Update the material system Z height. What says to activate? At some point I get the thing that's underneath you and I tell it to change its material. If it's like, if you're standing on like a mover or something, I tell it you're active, update your material. Where do I do that? Let's find a mover where I do that. Like, placeable object. Not you. Not it. Oh, come on. God damn it. So for a riser, when do I... It's for if you fall off the world. Oh God, I don't remember how I did it. Some materials active, some materials inactive. Okay, what calls you? Find references. Player pawn does when you transform each tick. Okay, at the end of a transform. Yeah, that does make sense. Okay, so what do I need this for again? Why did I think this would help me? What is the problem I'm trying to solve? Just trying to figure out how to determine what's underneath you. Actors in chain with active materials. Shit. So at no point do I save what you're standing on. Like, I just don't care. At no point do I store that as a variable. Okay. But I want to, right? Yes, obviously. So should I do that when the level's initialized? Should I say this is the boat? I mean, it feels weird to every single tick cast, every tick, look underneath the player, determine what that actor is, find the socket in the actor that you would attach to. Though I guess maybe I should do that every tick. No. No, that feels stupid. I should update that once and store it in the animation blueprint. And then every tick I should query the location of the socket. I should not fucking figure out the actor every socket, or every tick. That's too much. It's a road too far. I should piggyback on this stuff, the set materials active. This runs on every actor on grid, which means it's definitely running on these things in the boat. So every time you step on an actor, I update the materials for it. I could also just say, if you are on a boat level, cast up and tell the animation blueprints that you exist. Should the object tell the animation blueprints that they exist? I feel like we should make a call to the animation blueprint and they should find out about the object. Don't feel like the object should be poking the animation tree. That feels gross. It feels like all the data should live on the pawn and in the animation blueprint, and they should call the objects in the world. Which would mean all the actors bearing load. That's the ground height. Okay, save the move. Detach, call move ending on the actors. Do I ever make a call to the animation tree? I feel like I must. At the end of a rotation? Not like Heyo tree. Oh, here it is. Update idle animation after movement. Oh. Nice, I already have a function for this. This is where I say to, okay. This is where I make my calls to the animation tree. This is where I determine, like, if you're near a wall, you'll notice that you don't play your idle, you just kind of rest your hand on the wall. This is where I set that to happen. Yeah, this is where I do all the nice stuff in the animation tree. So obviously this is where I should set, okay, wait. So this is for the body, this is for the limbs. Okay, so somewhere in here I want to say, I want to tell the body what you're standing on. Right, right. Yeah, and if I do this, I can use the regular old. Where's my animation blueprint? Okay, so right now, all right. So what this is this is a thing that's like, I'll show you what I'm piggybacking on, because then maybe it'll make more sense. So say we have a level like this one. This is a bad example, because you don't move that much. See how she's moving with him? Her body and her limbs are moving. As the quat wiggles around, she wiggles too, right? And the way I'm doing that is on the animation tree for her body, because they all have their own animation blueprint. On the animation blueprint for her body and each of her attachments, it's looking to see if she's attached to something, which is something I store in the pawn. And if you are, just get the offset of a socket that's named extremity. And then take that offset and add it at the end of the chain. Add it at the end of the calculating where each bone should be to the root bone. So I'm going to piggyback on that for everything. I'm going to change how that's done. You're no longer going to figure that out every tick. That was already kind of sloppy now I think about it. Instead, this is going to be stored. I'm going to store component to attach to as a variable on the animation blueprint. It's going to be a skeletal mesh component, yes. It's going to have to be, because I can't put a socket on a static mesh. So this is just going to be something I store. I'm not going to get the owning pawn to figure it out. Okay. And now I need to forcibly update this. When am I going to update it? Well, anytime a move is finished, I call this function. And I say, all right, you just finished a move, bounce the body, you know, little polish tasks like that. I'm also just going to set a comp to attach to. And I'm going to set it to be if this is valid. What the fuck sets this anyway? Currently attached to this component. Where are you set? Huh. That feels sloppy. I feel like that could change. Whatever, we're changing how it's done. So we're not even going to do that. We're going to go to when you finish a transform, I call get the load bearing actor chain. I get the actors bearing load. I want the lowest sub actor in the chain. Or lowest actor will be a clump. I don't want that. I want the thing directly underneath you. How am I doing it over here? I just take the body, I adjust it down to the ground, I detect if it's pawn. Oh, interesting. Here's the problem. So this whole system is set up for... That's not a problem. Here's what we need to do. So, I haven't checked chat in like an age. Oh good, hate too much coffee. Alright. Here's what we're gonna do. I can't imagine why I only update this when I switch to or from something. Well, it's because I guess it hasn't mattered in the past. Here's what's blowing my mind. Because it feels like my current system's actually broken. In a way. What it feels like is... Say a minute, give me a random level. Not one of these, give me like one of these. Oh, he's not moving up and down much. This is a bad example. Maybe do give me one of these. See, okay. So what I thought happened was see how he still kind of twitches when he's inactive? I thought that would go through to her too, but I don't have that happening. I just keep them very, very still when they're inactive, so you don't notice that she's not in any way adjusting to his motion. I'm going to change how all this is done. I'm not just going to switch you when you're active and inactive. I'm going to switch you every time you finish a move. Because you could have moved onto a different element. And I want you to be able to have that inactive stuff. And once I've done that, then making it work, making you do things like the pawn moves with the boat will be trivial. That should just automatically work. So let's change that. This entire thing needs to move into a function that I call regularly. Sure. Except for this, what is this cut this maybe thing? Pawns attached offset. Yeah, that was an experiment that failed. I vaguely remember doing that one night. It's not used anywhere. It's used anywhere at all. No. Okay. So you're old and you can die. Death. Currently attached to this actor, currently attached to this component. Alright. I take absolutely all of this, and I'm going to move it into this function that I run update idle animation after movement. I'm just going to splice it right in here. Oh God. This is all stuff we do for each animation socket. Actually, maybe we'll do this ahead of this. It's just animation polish. This is logic. Let's think and then we make things pretty. First we think. Alright, so first find out. Let's make a bunch of local variables. This is variable. This is for cutscenes and stuff where I'm forcing you to be attached to something. Set. Local variable. Oops. Local. Why are you being difficult? I could be this way. Local. Socket to attach to. Alright, this will handle our weird ass cutscenes. This is not the typical code path. That's just a workaround. This is the typical code path. Are you standing in another pawn? Look at the grid manager, check out your body grid index. Ignore yourself, you don't count. Cast down to the ground. Is the ground a pawn? If yes, set this local variable, the pawn that you're attaching to be that pawn. Get the delta between the body of the pawn you're attaching to and yourself. Why are you doing that? Oh, yeah, determine if you're in X, Y, or Z. I see. Make sure that you're over the other pawn. Don't know why you would have to do that, but okay. It's probably a failsafe that exists for some reason. to determine if it should be the bottom socket or the top socket. Weird. Why do I have to do that? I obviously added that for a reason. I just don't remember why. Anyway, if that's not true, if the ground is a movable actor, set currently attached to this actor. Another branch here. So if you are already on that pawn, if what have I done? What is all this for? Set currently attached to this component. Okay. If pawn attached to is not equal to currently attached to this actor, then go through this. Otherwise, don't bother. You already done it. Same thing here. If movable surface to attach to is not equal to currently attached to this component, or currently attached to this actor. Okay. Now, just clean this up. Let's ask some questions. Where do I use this? Does this just exist to get called from the animation tray? Right, and if all this is false, by the way, this detects if we're on a pawn, this detects if we're on a moving actor. If all this is false, clear these. Set currently attached to this component to be false. Okay. Now, currently attached to this component. Now, go to the animation tree, set it to that. Yes. One last thing. Get component. All right, now I need a skeletal mesh on my moving prop. You're already moving prop grid based. Okay. So I need my moving prop grid based to be a dummy object. This is a cube of 200 and 200 units, right? Right. Create skeleton. I need you to have a root joint. I need you to have an extremity that everything attaches to. What is it called specifically? Player pawn. I've been attaching you to player pawn G extremity. Game joint extremity. Okay. You are now a dummy skeletal mesh. File, export all. Moving prop dummy. So what are you doing? Good Lord. Okay. Moving prop grid based on the basic level needs to now have a skeletal mesh. Dummy skeletal mesh. You probably going to the root. You're hidden in game by default. Shouldn't have done that. It's gonna take a while. Oh shit, hey Weiss, sorry man. I'm kinda in it. Shouldn't have hit compile. That was a mistake. I have all the maps open. Ooh, okay, finished. Okay. All right. Give me... Ugh, when I deleted that asset, closed everything. Give me the player pawn again. Give me... Okay. You just always set to attach to the currently attached component, which is set each time, which we're going to set here. If you detect that you're on a moving prop, get skeletal mesh. Get skell mesh? Did I just call it skell mesh? Yes, I did. Okay. That's the component you're attached to. Okay, so that'll just get set. Sure. Don't know if this will work at all, but possibly. So nothing should have changed yet. Give me the animation blueprint for the body. Comp to attach to. So this will get set now from the pawn. If it's not nothing, find the socket named G extremity. Find the offset from 50, huh? Shit. Yep, forgot about that. Okay. Also, this never would have worked. What the hell was I thinking? G base. We'll call it base. Fuck it. Base. Extremities under that. Base is up by 50. No translate other than that. Root. Should not have translation. Extremity should be only up by 50. And unbind skin. Now that's the dummy socket. Okay. Placeable objects, grid-based, re-import. Yep. Okay. What's your deal? Why are you all in a weird spot and shit? Static mesh is -90. That's pretty bizarre. I think it would at least be -100. Oh, that's rotation. So you want the root at the base. I guess I could do that. File, export all. Okay. Also, you're invisible. Should never hit that. That was a mistake. Did it once though. Yeah, it's not that bad. Okay. This. Get the socket location in world space. Get the world world space location of the component. Fuck. New plan. So this is gonna have to emulate what I'm doing elsewhere. So you're gonna be in engine at 150. And I'll just fix that source side to be the case. Base is just going to be 0. File export all. Prop dummy, yes, go. Why didn't you give me your options? Import. I want to reset your T-pose. There you go. And you're invisible. Okay. There is now a dummy box with a socket that is 50 units up from the base. This basically mirrors what I did for the appendages on characters. Okay. Alright, if I did this right, nothing will have changed. Yet. So if I'm here, she's moving with him. If I'm here, does she still move? No, doesn't seem like it. Though I might not be animating the extremity bone on this one. So that might be right. And I'm not sure if I want to, so that might be fine. Okay. So there's that. Now, with the boat. I mean, I doubt this will just work, but it could, I suppose. Well, the bones are in there to make it work. A boat is made up of 3 moving props that are attached like to one clump. Let's see what things are called. So this whole big old function, it's called as soon as the movement stops. Adjust grid height down to ground. Ground is pawn is false. Ground is movable actor is true. Currently attached to this actor. Ah, it's not running it again because it already ran it the first time and it switched. Which I maybe don't need to do. Please don't do this. Ah, the editor wants me to take a break. It's important. You must take breaks. Stand up. Get the blood going into your legs. Okay. So when you switch to alright, so the thing that's missing from this new version is that I do this. I do feel gross having these two code paths that are almost exactly the same. I feel like I should call it from here. Should eliminate this, but then I'll be adding in some other stuff, like the body bounce and stuff, which means maybe this should have just been a separate function that I call in both places. It's entirely possible that's the way it should be. Let's just try doing this. That seems to be fine. Okay, so why are they not updating now? So I'm gonna add a breakpoint here. When you move, hit the breakpoint. You are standing on an actor. You're currently standing on nothing. You should be standing on this other thing. And then we go down here, pulse the body, set the socket facing. Yeah, that should work. Oh, of course not, because technically the moving prop isn't moving. I mean, it's moving, but it's not animating, right? Because it's not... The thing that's animating is this skeletal mesh. You're attached to the clump. Fuck. Okay. You have to be attached to the clump. Alright, 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 alright. No, this is fine. So... okay. I'm gonna get rid of the boat actor that we made earlier. We're gonna make a clump that has a scale mesh in it. Yes, yes we are. Moving platform, that's what I called it. What did I call it? Moving platform. It's a clump. Moving actor clump, haha. I did rename it. Okay. Create a child of this. Moving actor clump. Grid-based boat. You, my child, will have a skeletal mesh. Skeletal mesh. That skeletal mesh will be a boat. Boat. You'll have this blueprint. Boat. That is what you will look like. This. You're gone. You're a boat now. I need to temporarily clear this. Okay. You will attach to a specific, don't be like this. Is there a way to see? I can't see what socket you're attached to. No, of course I can't. Alright, but what I can do is detach you, right? I hope. Detach, and then attach again. And then, no, you're not going to give me an option, huh? Of a scale mesh? Whoops. Come on. I wonder if I can just do it right in the code. Like maybe when you begin play. Get a reference to this. Get a reference to this. Attach actor to component. Target. Get skill mesh. Get skill. I might be thinking this the wrong way. I don't want these to move. If I move these, I'm moving the logic. Ugh. I don't want them to actually move. I just want the art to move. Scratch all this. Let's try this. Let's take this a little more seriously. You're gonna be... Art source. Oh, fuck, I don't know what to call you. I'll just be here. Moving prop. Grid paste. Dummy. I just figure out what the hell I'm doing. Calling you. Backward is where Rue is. Temporarily zero this out. Move you down 150 and back 200. Moving prop mid. Forward. Okay. Okay, so now I'm animating each of the 3 moving props that are part of this, and I can export that and bring that into the game. So hopefully, do my RI tools set up for this? Yes. Okay. So from 0 to 200. Boat idle. backwards. Good, yes, let's copy that twice. Backwards, mid, forward. Mid, forward. Let's export those. What? Yes, that's fine. I get it. Don't like having two things named the same thing. I need to make sure this constraint has the same namespace as everything else. Later, Kayla. Export geometry. Let's just test with the one animation, shall we? So I'm gonna go back to the way things were. You are just gonna be moving actor clump. This is no longer gonna exist. Cancel. Whatever, I'll delete you in a minute. We're gonna duplicate you. You are gonna be... It's interesting, why don't I see any details? Are you about to crash on me? I know this feeling. Getting the feeling. Save everything. Oh, no, we're fine. Okay. 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 So, let's see here. This won't look good, but I need to test it. Let's just import... Well... Environment boat ride. Curious. No, because of course not, because why would they? Okay, so I constrained the wrong thing. Don't constrain the root. Root needs to be pure. 200, 0, negative 150. Should do this with all of them. No rotation. Z of negative 150. Y of nothing. Okay, the root stays where it is. That's the whole point. What we animate, the entire point of this is that we can't animate the root because the root is what the gameplay is tied to. So root stays stationary. Base is what we animate. And we gotta change the name. Okay. So in reality, I'll have to export that for each of these. In reality, I'll make a animation for each of these, blah, blah, blah. But for now, god damn it. I just want to see stuff working. Okay. How far along are we here? They're moving with it. They're moving with it. I mean, obviously they're not moving with the boat because the boat's playing a different animation. They're moving with invisible dummies that have the wrong stuff on them, but they're moving. See, they're moving. See, we're moving this. Things are gonna happen. Our system's gonna work. Okay. Let's fix shit first. I wish there's a way to tie this together so I don't have to apply it to every single instance. But the code under the hood really wants these to be unique actors that are child actors of this other actor, which I could do in a blueprint, but that makes me very nervous. And I only have to replicate what I'm doing 8 times, so it's almost not worth it to write some kind of fucking weird ass system. So yeah, I'm just gonna one-off it. Okay. Okay. Boat. New folder, animations. Too long. Anims. moving prop mid. You go there. You go there. Boat anim BP. Where'd I put your animation blueprint? Oh, directly in here, huh? Boat anim BP, boat. Moving prop mid anim BP. All you are is, I don't want to bother syncing these animations, so I'm going to sync them the dumb way. Someday I'm going to find out this doesn't work good, but we're just going to grab the animation. Oh, crap. Yeah, we can't just dupe that. What was I thinking? Delete. Sorry. Why must we close everything? Every time I delete an asset. I'm sure it's a failsafe that's required because of something. Like, I know how these things happen. Alright, animation. Create an animation. It's going to boat. Moving prop mid. Dummy. And MVP. And you're going to go here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this animation. I'm not going to interpolate over time. I'm going to set every time the animation blueprint ticks, I'm going to get the audio time in seconds, which is a global. And I'm going to set you to be that percentage. I'm going to set you to be through that animation by how much? I did this earlier today. Divide by 6.6 repeating, get the remainder. You are that explicit time in this animation. That's just what we do. All right. Now, let's export the other two, the backward and the forward. Hey, Yorkscript. Hey, Mitchell. You're working on the finale music? Oh, I'm excited. Hey, Ormius. Oh, yeah. Blueprint will make you hate yourself from the past. It's fun that way. But you don't, right? Because you know you were just slapping it together. It's whatever. Besides, if you looked at old code and you thought, that's perfect, I couldn't do anything better than that, then that's bad. That means you're regressing. Anytime you look at code you wrote a couple years ago, you should be like, wow, I know so much more now. I never would do it like that now. That means you're getting better, right? So it's good. You should expect that. So we have moving prop mid. We're gonna make boat dummy moving prop. Ah, shit. Moving prop forward. And boat moving prop backwards, and let's import backwards and forward, and all I'm doing is updating the animation I'm calling here to be backward, or forward, and a backward. Backward. Bam. Okay. So let's see here. So this is, I think you're supposed to be backward. Which means you're supposed to be forward. Which means you're supposed to be mid. Okay, forward. Mid. Backward. Okay. Doesn't look like it's working, does it? What I want to see is, what I'd like to see is what the hell's going on. That'd be neat. Moving. So this thing where we set you to not be visible. Let me see, it should be hidden in game. Oh, I still don't see you. You're not hidden in game. You're visible. I should see you. Is the entire thing hidden again? Yeah, the entire actor's gonna be hidden again. Right. Let's not do that for you. This is clearly not working. It's just weird because it looks like it's kind of sort of working, but it's not. It's close to working. It's as though they're not synced up. It's as though they're rotated. Like the translates are definitely correct. But the rotation definitely is not. Here they linked up. And this is 0. You should be 0. You are. I mean, it's definitely not just that I've got didn't mean to move you, buddy. Sorry about that. What is the difference here? There's something I'm missing. It's gonna be some fucking... This is gonna be some dumb shit with Maya being right-handed and this editor being left-handed. I know it. This is always where I hit the wall. So... in Maya, these three move together. Here they don't. Why is this way? X is this way. I can't just scale you. What am I missing? Oh, what? It can't be that simple. Is that it? That sounds like a nightmare, Michael. Godspeed, man. It's working. Alright, set the actors to be hidden in game. Set this to be invisible. You're not initializing correctly. Only the one you switch to, because there's nothing initializing it, of course not. Interesting. So you're not set when you're initialized, you're only set after you move. Oh no, of course. No, I haven't set up any of the other ones. Okay. Okay, so in this instance, now what? I just gotta redo everything I did there, over here, and for all of them. Okay. No bigs, let's do it. So, yes. You have an animation blueprint that is, let me just verify. This will be backwards. You'll be backwards. You'll be forwards. It is stupid that I'm doing this multiple times. I should think of a better way to do this, but it would require so much fucking refactoring. And there's only 8 levels that use this boat. Backwards. Okay. This is the little entry level. This is backwards. Mid. Forward. Okay. So that should do that. Yeah, sorry, I got a Gmail ping. I closed Discord, I closed Slack. They find you, man. They always find you. Alright, what am I doing now? Okay. I'm running out of steam. I need to get another snack soon. It's the weird time. You can't eat now. This is the problem with eating breakfast at 11. Now it's like, what is this? Is this lunch or dinner? Am I gonna go out for dinner? What am I gonna do for dinner? I'm just gonna snack twice. What a drag. Because I want to eat, but do I eat again before 5? That doesn't make sense. Just sit here and be hungry. Alright, so the problems now. There, see, like they're on the boat. They're on a boat, it's moving. It needs to be way more aggressive than this. I think I'm about to wrap up this stream though. Yeah, didn't expect that. Does that look right to you? He looks like he's drifting weird. Oh, what the shit is that? I need some water. What was the repro for that? The key is to snack nonstop all day. Also don't exercise. And don't keep a regular sleep schedule. Do you get a lot done when you do that? Talranu? Oh, you like it, Tom? Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely one where you have to be willing to use undo. Which is, you know, whatever. Not everybody has. Cool. Gets more interesting later on. Because they each have their own kind of shapes that they can do. It's sort of fun to play with. I want to kind of... Like, I could make an entire game out of this. I plan to. This is not the first, well, this is the first of many. Because there's a lot more you could do with this. You'll see. This is going to be a whole thing. Like, I think the next one of... I'm going to make a bunch of smaller games, I think, maybe. I don't know how I'm going to fit it in, but there's like a bunch of different sliding puzzle style kind of games I want to move into. I'll try sliding puzzle sort of stuff. I want to get into that next. I think that'll be fun. Though there's, particularly with these mechanics, like I said, you can get, it's not fun. I need to playtest it. Here's what's not fun. What's not fun would be like, maybe I can show you here. Yeah, this is probably a good test case. You can get into a situation, I might have solved it so you can't do it here. Yeah, you can't get in that problem here. The problem comes... Okay, imagine you couldn't push off this block. You can end up in these situations where you're just kind of like lost at sea. There's no solution. And the trick is making sure that can't happen with any of your puzzles, because it's not fun. It's not fun to get into that situation. I think you can actually do it here. Maybe. Like... Oh yeah, you can really easily do it here. Look, now you're stuck. And you have no choice, you have to undo. Except that's broken as shit. What the fuck? Sorry. But yeah, this should kick you off the boat and you should die. Something went wrong. I touched the movement code and I shouldn't have touched it. And I thought I reverted it. I wonder if I just didn't revert it all the way. Do you have an ice puzzle? No, that's been done. It sounded so bitchy. No, everybody does that. We're not going to be doing that. No, I don't know. Not for this one. This is just, it did make sense, right? I thought maybe they'd be figure skating, but I thought it'd make more sense if, like, I mean, they're in love, right? So, like, they're on a boat. And then later on, there's another area where they go dancing. But it's, like, on casters. You know, like, because they're backstage and stuff, right? So... Euler kind of built a little dance floor. And I haven't finished these, I need to make more of them. But they go and they're like... They have different level risers, different size risers they can be on. Push each other around. This is a shit level. I need to go back and actually make these now that the mechanics work. I'm gonna push each other. That's another one. See, you'd be stuck there. This is a bad level. These are surprisingly hard to do. This area I haven't touched yet. I just kind of proved out that I could do it with some of these. And kind of made a plan. And now I've got to actually do it. This is one of the final few levels I gotta finish up. Oh shit. Alright. Yeah, I got the boat sway in. Can I have the game forcibly undo if you end up in a no-move state? I don't know. I could. I'll try it. I'll see if it feels good. I'd rather have them bark at you. Be like, hey, we're stuck. There's nowhere to go. Though I feel like you should figure that out pretty quickly. It's a lot worse when you get... I don't mind making people undo. The times it makes people undo, the time it sucks and you really don't want to make people undo is when if somebody goes down a path where they make a mistake and they don't realize they've made a mistake and then they just keep flailing because they think they can win the level. That's terrible. Like that's when people get frustrated, they bounce off the game. Something like that where it's like you made a move and then all of a sudden you have no moves that you can make. It occurs to you like, oh, I should undo. So I don't feel like that's that bad, right? Like it doesn't bother me as much. It's not ideal. Though I will say, like, starting to make these made me really appreciate certain things. Like Road Not Taken has a lot of sliding puzzles like that, and I get it now. You have to... These are surprisingly irritating to make. It's kind of why I want to make more of them. What was I doing? Yeah, this wasn't looking good. Let's figure out why. Why these are out of sync. Did I fuck it up? Was this supposed to be... So this is backward. Yeah. And this is... Oh, right. The same problem I had before. All of them have to be rotated 90. Take absolutely every box. Right, and rotate -90. And save all. I think how they move with the boat. There's a ghost. Except for the one that's active when you first start. That one doesn't do shit. Alright, I think that's gonna be my stream for the day, guys. Got a good almost 4 hours. That's reasonable, right? I feel like I did right. I'm basically a streamer. William Share streams every day for like 8 hours or some shit. I'm not a streamer at all. Let's look at what's going on with Twitch. Nobody's online. Damn it. Well, I guess we're not raiding anybody. But I am going to take off. Hope you guys had fun. I will keep working on this. I'll have some kind of update later in the week. Yeah, I should stream again later this week. I don't know why I wouldn't. And Chris Light and I recorded a podcast yesterday, which I hope will come out later this week. So we're basically back at it. Thanks, Rootlancer. It's good to see you, man. Yep. That's all, folks. Goodbye.